Yeah, and I think you better watch who the fuck you.
So Tupac and Allen Hughes step outside. Allen comes back in, and Tupac never returns.
You know, in the hood, when you want to film in the hood, you gotta have community liaisons, which is the OGs from the sections that will allow you to film in there, so it's no bullshit. Either you pay them or you put them in it.
Menace II Society was a classic, but Tyrin Turner just revealed some of the darkest secrets from the movie that fans might not know. So, what really happened? From Tupac, the director, and getting kicked off the film.
No, they won't. They better come now. Check this out. They fired me, but did it in a roundabout punk snitch way. So I caught them on the streets and beat they behind.
To using real gang members as security on set, Jerry Heller pulling a gun on the directors, as well Eazy-E being removed from his role because the director felt he was too controlling.
I'll never forget this one guy. I forget his name, but he was the scariest guy in the area. I mean, everything about him, his manner, his approach, his reputation. And I remember that to try to diffuse this, we offered him his job as like our head neighborhood security guy. And he did a great job.
How did the behind-the-scenes drama get so wild? Let's dive in. Tyrin Turner remembered a time that changed everything during the early days of making Menace II Society. Back then, the movie had not been fully cast. Only one other person was already attached to the film, and that was Tupac Shakur. Tupac was supposed to play the role of Sharif, a Muslim friend of Tyrin's character. Even Jada Pinkett hadn't joined the movie yet. They were still doing script readings and auditions to find the rest of the actors. It was a fresh start for everyone involved.
At the table, he had the Menace II Society script, and he's like, you came, and gave me the script, just like that.
You just read a couple of lines.
A couple of lines. It wasn't even an audition like that. It was just more like they knew that what they wanted.
Tyrin explained that Tupac had already worked with the Hughes brothers before. The Hughes brothers were the ones directing Menace II Society. Years earlier, Tupac had trusted them to direct the music video for his song, Brenda's Got a Baby.
I hear Brenda's got a baby, but Brenda's barely got a brain, a damn shame.
That video became a big hit and helped the Hughes brothers get noticed in the film world. So when they started working on Menace II Society, they reached out to Tupac again because of that past connection. Tupac agreed to be part of the film, but he told them he had to finish filming Poetic Justice first. Everyone waited for him, but once he returned, things quickly changed. The mood in the room became tense, and nobody was expecting what would happen next. Tyrin said the first big group reading took place in a small room. Everyone who had been picked so far was there. Tyrin, Tupac, Jada, and a few others.
Nobody really was locked in like that, but Tupac was signed on, kind of like, Tupac was kind of signed on.
And he was supposed to play Sharif?
Sharif.
They all sat down with their scripts, ready to read their lines and get into character. As they started reading, Tupac stopped everything in the middle. He looked upset. He told everyone that he didn't feel right about his character. He didn't understand why Sharif, a former gang member, had suddenly become a peaceful Muslim. Tupac said, "I need more. I need something real. I need to know why my character is like this." He wanted the script to show what made Sharif change. He wanted the audience to know Sharif's past and what made him become a better man. He didn't want Sharif to just seem like a quiet guy with no reason behind it.
So he wanted them to write in the script why he turned Muslim. Show why.
Tupac was not trying to be rude. He just cared deeply about the story. He felt that if he was going to play a good, peaceful character, the audience needed to understand why. He believed that people don't change for no reason. He wanted the script to show that Sharif had gone through something hard. Maybe a loss, maybe pain, or maybe something tragic. That would help people connect with Sharif. It would help them understand why he was different now. But the Hughes brothers didn't agree. They wanted to keep the character simple. They didn't want to add more story to Sharif's background. This made Tupac frustrated, and he didn't want to continue unless they made changes.
if you want me to play the righteous dude, then you gon' show why I turned righteous.
Alan Hughes, one of the directors, got irritated. He didn't like that Tupac was stopping the reading and slowing things down. He told Tupac, "You're interrupting the session. Let's just get through this." They tried to keep going, but Tupac stopped again. This time, things got more heated. Alan said something mean. He called Tupac a bad name and told him to step outside. The two went outside to talk in private. Nobody knew what was said outside, but after that moment, Tupac never came back to the movie. That was the end of his time on Menace II Society.
So Tupac and Alan Hughes step outside. Alan comes back in, and Tupac never returns.
Tyrin said he never saw Tupac again after that day. Soon after, the directors replaced Tupac with another actor named Vontae Sweet. Vontae ended up playing Sharif in the movie. The directors had already decided to move on without him. It was a strange moment for everyone there. Tyrin was still young back then. He came from a tough neighborhood and was not used to people getting in the way of his work. He didn't know about Tupac's past with the Hughes brothers. He just wanted to focus on his part and do a good job. He didn't want drama or conflict. To him, Tupac seemed like a person who was making things harder than they needed to be. But Tyrin later learned more about Tupac and began to understand him better. Over time, Tyrin realized that Tupac wasn't just being difficult, he was passionate. He wanted the character of Sharif to feel real and honest. He didn't want to play a character that didn't make sense. He wanted every role he played to be powerful and true to life. Even though he caused a scene, Tupac was only trying to help make the story better. But maybe it wasn't the right time or place to bring it up like that. The Hughes brothers didn't want to change anything in the script. They wanted Tupac to just play the role as it was. But Tupac couldn't do that. He wanted to tell a deeper story. That disagreement led to the argument and Tupac leaving the movie. It wasn't just about acting. It was about who controlled the story and how characters are shown on screen. Tupac didn't want to be seen as weak or fake. He wanted people to understand why Sharif became a better man.
They had their conversation, and Tupac never showed up again, and then they hired my boy Vontae Sweet, who plays Sharif.
Not long after Tupac Shakur got fired, he was very upset. He believed he was trying to help the movie and make it better. But instead of being thanked, he got removed. This made him feel angry and disrespected. He didn't understand why his ideas were not welcome. He thought he was being punished for speaking up and giving his opinion. Later, Alan Hughes, one of the directors, explained what really happened from his side. He said Tupac showed up late to the set one day. The directors were already frustrated because they expected all actors to be on time. They wanted everything to run smoothly. So, when Tupac walked in late, it made things worse. The directors were not happy. They spoke to him in a rough way, asking him why he was late. Their tone sounded harsh and rude. Tupac didn't like being spoken to like that. He felt like they were treating him badly in front of others.
It wasn't that late. Just how you were like 15, 20 minutes late. It was like that. It was, well, shit. You know what I mean? And they try to act all fly with Pac when he got in rehearsal. Like, we need you to read. Why are you here on time? We're just talking.
Tupac fired back at them right away. He told them he had just finished working on another movie with Janet Jackson. He wanted them to understand that he was busy and working hard. He wasn't being lazy or careless, but the argument only got worse. Both sides were angry. The directors kept pushing, and Tupac kept standing his ground. Finally, Tupac got fed up. He yelled, "Forget this movie!" and walked away. He didn't want to deal with the disrespect anymore. He left the set and didn't come back.
Let's be clear about one thing. Whatever the argument was about was not what it was about.
Later, Tupac's brother, Mopram, talked about what really caused the fight. He said it wasn't just about being late. Tupac was going through a time in his life when he wanted freedom. He didn't want anyone to control him. Making a movie means following rules, listening to the director, and sticking to a schedule. Tupac didn't like that. He didn't want to feel like a robot, just saying lines and doing what he was told. He wanted to bring his own ideas and style. He didn't want to be put in a box or treated like he didn't matter.
Tupac was at a place in his life where he just couldn't be put into any kind of box. And when you're making a movie, that's what that is.
About 6 months after the fight, Alan Hughes went to work on a music video for a rapper named Spice One. The song was called The Trigger's Got No Heart, and it was for the Menace II Society soundtrack.
Got no heart. Got no.
Alan had been drinking a lot of Hennessy and was very drunk when he got off the plane. He didn't know what to expect. Tupac came to pick him up from the airport, but Tupac wasn't smiling. He looked serious. When Alan got into the car, Tupac handed him a newspaper. The newspaper had a story about Tupac getting fired. It said, Tupac came to the movie set drunk and high and couldn't remember his lines. When Alan read it, he was shocked. Even though he was drunk and couldn't focus well, he knew it wasn't true. He had worked with Tupac and knew that Tupac took his work seriously. Tupac didn't show up drunk, and he didn't forget lines. That story was a lie, and both Tupac and Alan were angry about it. They started yelling and talking trash to each other.
Ultimately, we all know what happened is those 10, 15 guys jumped me, you know.
Things got heated very fast. Both men were mad. They kept saying tough words and said they wanted to fight. But Alan didn't know Tupac had his crew with him. These were men from the 40s gang, and they were not joking around. Tupac wasn't alone. Alan was in a dangerous spot and didn't even realize it at the time. What started as a small fight about being late turned into a big mess. It was one of the many moments that showed how Tupac didn't like being disrespected or controlled by anyone. Back then, when the movie was being planned, the director, Alan Hughes, had someone special in mind for the role of O-Dog. He wanted rapper Eazy-E to play that part. At the time, Eazy-E was already very famous because of his group NUA. He had a strong voice, a cool style, and fans loved him. Hughes said they even wrote the role of O-Dog just for Eazy-E. They believed he could bring something real and powerful to the character.
Eazy-E was supposed to be O-Dog.
That's right.
And that didn't work out.
That's right.
But things did not go well. Eazy-E and his business partner, Jerry Heller, wanted to control too much of the movie. They did not just want Eazy to act, they wanted to change the script and how things were done. Hughes said it felt like they were trying to take over. He respected Eazy-E, but he knew he could not work like that. Hughes said they were trying to put him in a box and limit what he could do as a director. So, in the end, he had to let Eazy-E go and find someone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of people
I
didn't know
was
that.
brokenhearted when we didn't get him.
That decision was not easy. Hughes said he really liked Eazy-E as a person. He called him kind and down to earth. Eazy-E was great with fans and always took time for them. But Hughes also said that after working with Eazy and Heller, he finally understood why other people left NUA. Dr. Dre and Ice Cube had both walked away from the group before. Hughes said now he could see why they did. The control and power struggles were just too much. Larenz Tate ended up getting the role of O-Dog, and he did a great job. Many people remember that role as one of the best in the movie. But Eazy-E could have had that role first. Ice Cube also said he was offered the part before Tate. Cube said he turned it down because he didn't want to always play a gang member in every movie. He had just done Boys in the Hood and didn't want to be typecast. But later, Cube admitted he regretted saying no. He thought Larenz Tate did amazing, but he also knew that role could have been his. NWA was one of the biggest rap groups in the late 1980s and early 1990s. It started with Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Arabian Prince. Later, DJ Yella and MC Ren joined, but problems started when Jerry Heller got more involved. Ice Cube left in 1989 because he felt he wasn't being paid fairly. Dre left in 1991 for similar reasons. He said Heller only looked out for Eazy-E and didn't treat the rest of them equally. Another major casting change was the character AWAX.
MC Ren was supposed to play AWAX?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
At first, they wanted MC Ren from NWA to play the role. The directors wanted to keep a strong gangster rap presence in the movie, so they first reached out to MC Ren. He even went to a reading, which is when actors read the script for the first time. But for some reason, it didn't work out. Either he had other commitments, or they didn't like his performance. Whatever the reason, he didn't end up in the movie.
When 8 showed up, I was like, oh, this is MC8. Turned that out.
That's when they called MC8, another rapper known for his hardcore street image. At first, MC8 didn't think much of it. At that time, Ice Cube was the only rapper really doing movies, so MC8 didn't expect much. But the directors were fans of his music. They knew about Compton's Most Wanted, his rap group, and had seen his videos. Since they wanted a real street feel for the film, they asked him to come in and read for the part. MC8 read for the role multiple times. After his first reading, they called him back again to test him with different actors. They wanted to make sure he fit well with the rest of the cast. He had to audition several times before he finally got the role. The final test was when he read with the whole cast. After that, he went on tour for his music, thinking nothing of it. But while he was on the road, he got a call saying he had won the role. He had to stop his tour and return to start filming. In the end, MC8 became one of the best parts of the movie. His performance was strong, and his character felt real. Many fans can't imagine anyone else playing AWAX. The changes in casting ended up working out well for the film.
I ain't think nothing of it, you know. The only people that did movies was Cube, you know, so I was like, I ain't be in no movie.
During the making of the movie Menace II Society, the filmmakers wanted to shoot some scenes in a tough area called Watts in Los Angeles. To help keep things safe, they hired real gang members from a group called the Grape Street Watts Crips to work as security.
This is it. So what they did was they went over there, wanted to film. You know, in the hood, when you want to film in the hood, you got to have community liaison.
This made some people worried. They felt that using real gang members could make others think that gang life was cool or something to look up to.
Which is the OGs from the sections that will allow you to film in there, so it's no bull. Either you pay him or you put him in it.
Some people also felt it might make the set more dangerous. Even though the idea was to protect the film crew, it still made people ask if it was the right choice. The movie showed a lot of violence. Some scenes were very graphic, showing shootings, fights, and even people getting killed. Some people thought it was too much. They felt the movie showed African American neighborhoods in a bad way. They worried that others who watched it might believe that all black communities were full of crime and violence, which is not true. Critics said the film could add to bad stereotypes. While the movie showed some truth about life in poor areas, others believed it needed more balance and hope, not just pain and anger. Things got even worse when real violence broke out during the showing of Menace II Society. One night, in a movie theater in Roseville, a suburb of St. Paul, Minnesota, a group of people were watching the film. When the movie ended around 9:30 p.m., some men started fighting inside the theater. Then, someone pulled out a gun and started shooting. The gunfire didn't stop there. It continued in the parking lot outside. Thankfully, nobody was shot, but 2 people were hurt while running away or during the fight. It was a scary and dangerous moment for everyone there. The police arrived quickly. They blocked all the exits and wouldn't let anyone leave until they searched everyone. They found a loaded .40 caliber gun and picked up around 15 empty bullet shells. Police arrested 3 men, aged 24, 21, and 20. They were taken to jail and waited to be charged. Police said the fight started earlier that day in another neighborhood in St. Paul. They believed it was a fight between 2 groups of young men. The men who were arrested said they were not part of any gang. but the police were still looking into it. When Menace II Society came out, people had many different opinions. Some critics thought the film showed black people in a bad way. They believed it made people think worse about young men from poor neighborhoods. But other people said the film was powerful because it told the truth. They liked how the movie showed real problems in the inner city. The way people saw the movie often depended on their own experiences and beliefs about race. For some, it was painful to watch. For others, it opened their eyes. The movie sent a strong message. Many young people who die from street violence could have had good lives. They were not born bad. They were born into a system that didn't give them much chance. Their lives were full of pain and hard choices. The Hughes brothers, who made the film, showed that they had real talent. They did not go to big film schools, but they knew how to tell a strong story. The film did not try to make Kane, the main character, look like a hero. It also did not make him look like a victim who had no power. Instead, it showed him as a normal young man who lived in a tough world. He made bad choices, but he also didn't have many good ones. The film made people think, that could have been me if I grew up like that. Even if you didn't agree with everything Kane did, you could still understand how he ended up there. The film helped people see how life can push someone into a dark place. The movie had a lot of energy and real feelings. The actors gave strong performances. Tyrin Turner played Kane with quiet sadness. Lawrence Tate played O-Dog with wild, scary anger. Jada Pinkett played Ronnie, a woman who cared for Kane and wanted to help him change. None of these characters felt fake. They all seemed real. But because the movie showed so much pain and no happy ending, some people thought it was too negative. Alan Hughes, one of the directors, said, "If you hate black people, this film might make you hate them more. But if you're a true liberal, it will make you think." The film made people ask hard questions, like why it's so easy to get guns in poor areas, and why the system keeps failing so many young people.
You're sorry for your mother. What you say about my mama?
The Hughes brothers wanted people to see what was really happening in some neighborhoods. They didn't want to hide the truth just to make things look better. Still, the debate continued. Were these films helping or hurting the black community? Well, Kendrick Lamar, one of the greatest rappers of this era, talked about how Menace II Society influenced him when he was growing up. He said that while many people loved O-Dog, he connected more with Kane. That was a big compliment to the actor who played Kane, Tyrin Turner.
Yeah, and I think you better watch it.
When Tyrin heard Kendrick's words, he was shocked and honored. He said, "Man, that was dope." He never expected his role to have such a lasting impact. Even today, people on TikTok are talking about Kane and O-Dog. The new generation, who weren't even born when the movie came out, still quote it and talk about its impact. That's rare. Tyrin Turner said he never thought about it like that, but when people come up to him and say, "You raised me," he understands just how deep the movie's influence is. People tell him they bought their first car or wore certain clothes because of Menace II Society. That's when he realized the film wasn't just entertainment. It shaped culture.